Good evening, friends. Welcome back to our Yoga Scholars PGMER program, which is run on behalf of Integrative Medicine Case Reports, one of the premier and world's first journal that focuses on publishing data from both modern medicine as well as Ayush systems. And we welcome and solicit research articles that can enlighten our citizens, enlighten the researchers to do more research in the area of integrative medicine. Today, we are joined by Dr. B.T. Rudresh. Dr. B.T. Rudresh is a homeopath, and we have never had this program before. I hope you will all enjoy it. He's the president of Karnataka Board of Homeopathy Systems, national vice president of the Homeopathic Medical Association of India. He is the member executive board of directors, Central Council of Homeopathy, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He is the faculty, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka, Senate and Syndicate, ex-Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka. He's also the governing council. He was the member of the governing council, Central Council for Research in Homeopathy Department of Ayush, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. And he's also been part of Karnataka Knowledge Commission and Government of Karnataka. He's been member of editorial board, Journal of Ayush Sciences, also been part of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bengaluru. He's also the chairman Homeopathy Foundation with 38 years of clinical experience. We welcome you, Dr. Rudresh, and we hope our viewers are able to understand the concept of homeopathy and are able to take homeopathy to a new high with more investigations and more research, such that the best of homeopathy can be cultivated and integrated into the practice of modern medicine. Welcome. We invite you to give your talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me. Good evening, everybody. Today I am addressing certainly the non-homeopaths. Probably you are all doctors, research scholars. There are big names in the research levels, but I am basically a practitioner. From 40 years, I am practicing homeopathy after teaching medicine for 10 years in a medical college. Now I have come to a conclusion after seeing more than 20 to 25 years of knowledge what medicine is all about. But before that, I think I would like to enumerate as to what homeopathy is about. You may know a lot of things on homeopathy, and you may also know what you should not know and what you should not know. So I'll start with what homeopathy is. Homeo means similar, pati means suffering. That means similar suffering. That which can cause, can cure, is the dictum of homeopathy. The same thing was found in Skanda Purana, which says, Vishasya Visham Aushadam, Usnam Usnena Shamyati, and since man is dynamic, all our medicines act at the sub-physiological levels, and they are all absolutely under the potentization, which is unique thing to know, that our whole thing is the Mardhanam Gunavardhanam. The more you triturate, the more you give succussion, the medicine is energized. Though the from student from 1975, I have been reading Park, what is the definition of health, what is the definition of man, what is the definition of disease, and it's been ever changing. Earlier, it was a lack of disease was health. Today, it is physical, mental, spiritual, familial, financial, whatnot. That means our attitude and our perspective on health is also changing. That's what homeopathy has done. Homeopathic basic principle, similia similibus curantur, that which can cause, is based on nature's natural principle, that when a substance is capable of creating certain set of symptoms on a healthy human being, the same thing can cure in a diseased individual in infinitesimal doses. We have the theory from past 200 years. We have the theory of miasms, which we call it as, the basic concept. There is a cause behind all the diseases, which is not so nowadays. We know all the causes of all the diseases, which I am going to talk about, pandemic, which has come to us. Homeopathic core assertion is the individuality. There are no two who are alike. There are no two who are alike in health and sickness. Two headache patients with the concept of disease also, hereditary, environment, diseased causing potential individuality, which is present in himself only. So, without these, the same hereditary, same environment, same two people, twins, will not get disease under the same circumstances. When they have drank milk from either from a fridge or from infected one, both the twins, one gets the typhoid, another did not get. There again goes to the immunological levels of so many things, but homeopathy believes that individuality is the core assertion of homeopathy. And during epidemics, we have a separate theory, and all homeopathic medicines are being tried on healthy human beings. They are not tried on animals. And of course, now because of the what so-called the modern science demands all this, but we must realize that we are dealing with science of man. We are not dealing with science of material. The accuracy of mathematics of 1 + 1 = 2 is not there when it comes to the physics. Physics, the time and space plays the constraint. Somebody calls up from New York and tell me good morning, now it is good evening here. If you come to chemistry, it is still low. The temperature and pressures evolve. If you come to biology, there is no logic. And if you come to man, less said the better. It is for your kind preview to follow or to wonder or whatever it is. WHO till today has failed to define who is man. Foolproof, all-pervading definition of man is absconding. Homeopathy believes man is the entity of mind, body, and intellect, which is governed by vital force, which Indians call as prana. Chinese believe it as chi, and what so-called the modern medical scientists also believe that there is some energy called as bioenergy. That is the, whatever you call, the difference between the dead and the living, the demarcation, whatever the animates the body is the energizing prana or vital force which homeopathy believes. So whatever goes at the attributes of the vital force, which is governed by mind, body, and intellect, works under a harmonious way, which we call health. When it goes wrong, then we will call as disease. The treatment should not be more costlier than the disease. That's what homeopathy believes. And homeopathic treatment is very harmonious, harmless. While if you have a golden key, you cannot open everyone's house. That's what homeopathy believes. Particular key fits to the particular lock. That's what homeopathy is about. Now, we have called one thing known as, in homeopathy, the genus epidemicus, which says that, suppose I told you we treat the individual, all our medicines are sub-physiological, they are dynamized in nature. Since man is dynamic, medicines also must be dynamic. With all these, if the medicines do not work on a dead body, so we consider man as something unique and man is something different. I would like to quote Sir William Osler, who is the father of the medicine, who said medicine is science of uncertainty and art of probability. Unfortunately, we are all trying to fit man and fit medicine into the materialistic science of physics and chemistry. That's where we are going to fail. There cannot be two who are alike. That's what homeopathy believes. What is this genus epidemicus? When we come to the pandemic of what so-called the COVID-19, which is going on now, that is, suppose if there are 5 people who have come with a set of symptoms, I have given one medicine which has matched all the 5, then the epidemic has started, and without asking the second question, the 6th one will get the same medicine. This is known as genus epidemicus, which Hahnemann, Christian Friedrich Samuel Hahnemann, who started homeopathy, was the 3rd best physician on the earth as an allopathic doctor. He felt the treatment which I am giving, people who are coming back again, I am giving medicine again, they are coming back again, and why this? And I am sure even today the science has to answer, but he felt that there are no causes for diseases. There is no principle behind treatment. Anything is okay. Today X is okay, tomorrow Y is okay. All our wonder drugs have become blunder drugs of today. I'm not trying to comment anyone. I'm only making a comparison how homeopathy is far more equal now, or if time is given, if you produce the paper, if the common understanding of scientific community accepts, then we can able to produce a lot of papers. Homeopathy's basic principle is single medicine, simple medicine, a simillimum of medicine, and infinitesimal doses. And that's the concept of homeopathy. Now, coming back to COVID, right? Coming back to COVID, now COVID is supposed to be started. We were actually initially we were misled that it doesn't start from animal to man. That's what they said. WHO took some time to tell us it can also spread from man to man. It took 57 days to tell us that it is not just an epidemic, it is pandemic. If it were to be pandemic, we could have closed all our international borders long back. The homeopathic medicines, what we do is, now I can't go to Wuhan, treat 10 cases and prescribe 9 persons medicine, and one more person gets the same 10th medicine, which may not be possible. We have a set of, there are 2 categories when we prescribe in homeopathy. One is genus epidemicus on the law. The second is symptom similarity. Homeopathy is symptom similarity. WHO has very clearly given us a beautiful set of symptoms of COVID. After the infection, the primary thing is fever, which comes in almost 4 to 98.6. Then from 0 to 12 days, it spreads. Cough, shortness of breath, myalgia, fatigue, sputum production, headache, hemoptysis, diarrhea, respiratory rate increases more than 24, confusion, sore throat, rhinorrhea, chest pain, nausea and vomiting, conjunctival congestion, nasal congestion, chills, throat contagion, tonsil swelling, enlargement of lymph nodes, rash, pharyngitis, dizziness, and anorexia. These are the set of the symptoms which is given. A simple thing which causes, starting from a simple cold, if it can go to the level of death, then what are the march of events that has taken place? When I prescribe a medicine as a preventive for COVID, I'll think only in terms of what is the depth of the disease, seat of the disease, and almost the mortality rate of the disease, and how, what pace it travels. So if you consider all this on one side, on the other side, if you take down there are 3-4 medicines straight away come to my mind. One is arsenicum, other is phosphorus, the third one is ferromate, fourth one is Merxol and Rustox. These are the 5 medicines which generally we think of and they give. Now, on January 28th, the research committee, the Central Council of, under the Ayush Ministry, Research Council of Homeopathy representatives and the scientists sat together. They went through all this set of symptoms on the basis of symptom similarity, on the previous history of all our pandemics and epidemics, so on, with the history, with whatever the data available, they fixed a medicine known as arsenicum album. This medicine has got typically all the set of the symptoms. As I told you, the same medicine can prevent. I'm not making any claims. This is till the community to decide. It can prevent and cure the disease, number 1. Number 2, when it comes to the second option, when there is people are dying, people are having, they need ventilators, it is the pneumonia, failure, all this they talk about. But the truth, after the what so-called your autopsies, they very clearly tell it is not just the failure of the lungs, it is disseminated coagulated blood in the veins, which is making pulmonary embolism. That's why people are changing. So after seeing the autopsy report, whatever we were thinking all the bleeders like phosphorus, like nausea, like lachesis, these medicines are made from, they are known as anti-bleeders in homeopathy, which can also cover the gamut of all these symptoms. In all, the whole thing of knowing epidemics is very long time to homeopathy. In 1918, when there was Spanish flu, when there were almost 200 million people died, the Second World War, in America, the military hospital, 50 beds were given homeopathy, another 50 bed patients did not give homeopathy. People who took homeopathy, all the 49 become better. We have the evidences there, data is present with all the epidemics. And another, the people who did not take homeopathy, out of 50, there were 15 died and 35 recovered. The question was very simple. Homeopathy don't need to every time with all the epidemics go to the same place, make a vaccine, which will take another 2-3 years. If the truth has been told, if there is an iota of understanding to us and to the scientific community, either to the Ayush or to the homeopathic people, they would have separated the RNA of COVID-19, prepared a nosol, medicine made from that. I told you that which can cure the disease. I don't know why they didn't do this. I have used this theory in 1996 when there was an epidemic in Delhi, when people were dying because of sarsuka tail. You know that sarsuka tail, actually they were mixing the datura seeds into that, which turned out to be rhinotoxic. Like now pandemic, that time also people were dying. I was summoned to come to Delhi after 10 days. By then there were already 80 people died. My contention was only one, that Vajpayee ji, on seeing the quarter page article on my, it was not a claim, it was a truth, that my contention was, if there is a medicine made from datura seed, which is causing rhinotoxin and death, a medicine made from datura must cure the dropsy. I was invited there, we went there, we went all the 3 hospitals, took all those hospitals to Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, Delhi. We treated 50 patients for 3 days. There again, 49 became better by a medicine known as Argemona mexicana, a medicine prepared from datura thing which has been cross-infected people. Even during plague time, we have a history of treating the plague people as a preventive, a medicine made from plague bacteria itself, which is known as the pestinum. Likewise, we have data available right now in dengue fevers, during SARS, during Japan encephalitis, In Andhra, we have Pakka data of all the epidemics. The whole idea is taking homeopathic medicine is more safer, more economical to this country, where one third population of this country is under poverty. They don't know when they get their next food. Iska matlab, that doesn't mean just because it is available cheap, you should take it. No, it contains a lot of principles behind its treatment. You don't need to find out one remedy one day. All the failures of yesterday again. Do a fresh one. No, vaccination will take 6 months. My earnest request to the scientific community, accept our clinical evidence-based medicine, and we should try as a preventive. That's what my whole concern is all about. Time is free.
6:21.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rudresh. Is this the end of your lecture?
I think I don't need to
You can
tell
carry
about.
on.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
I
need
thought
to.
you were done.
No, done. But I was thinking of talking about COVID signs and symptoms, वगैरह. But I'm sure all my viewers, they are much educated than me. They are much more aware of what COVID is, how it spreads, what cautions we have to be taken. And the only my request with all the scientific community is revert back to homeopathy only because the disease that is not dynamic, it doesn't stay at one place itself. Likewise, earlier we used to tell it is the failure of lungs and we used to give ventilators. Now we have changed that attitude. Even I have the prima facie evidence of New York Hospital where they started with allopathy instead of ventilators. They went on up to treating the dispirin and anticoagulants and zincum and vitamin C. Today, the New York Hospital doesn't have one single positive case. My earnest request is, let us not stick on to some stigma of, because disease is always dynamic. It can change its attitude. Earlier, we did not know why people are dying and giving ventilators. But today, we know that it is because of disseminated coagulated blood in the veins. Even their treatment changes. So why not, which is available, which is evidence-based medicine and which people have experienced. In Karnataka, we have given almost 12 lakh people. I'm not making any claims to you. I'm only trying to present and share my experiences as a clinician than as a researcher, because as I repeat once again, the Sir William Hasler, the father of the modern medicine, who said medicine is a science of uncertainty, art of probability. We are dealing with science of man. We are not dealing with science of, there cannot be rigid rules here. You cannot fix this theory into physics and chemistry and look, you are not scientific. So our attitude must change. In the name of science, we cannot be so superstitious and we must develop that scientific spirit. I think I will close at this. And
Thank you, Dr. Rudresh. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Rudresh, for very passionate and comprehensive description of the concept of homeopathy, and then you described some experiences. I'd like to quickly add that if there are any evidence, even case reports, single person improvements, those can be published in research form, the form of
Yes,
research
yes, we
articles
have-
in different journals.
yes,
And
yes, we
integrative
have.
Yeah,
We
go ahead.
have,
Please go ahead.
even in COVID, right now we have that in one of the Agra's homeopathic, Neminath Homeopathic Hospital has treated only through homeopathic medicines, and they have the evidences, probably will able to go. But every time when a new disease comes, where will you have evidence? Past, previous, and when I say my system has got a basic nature's natural principle, why don't we accept that? That's what my question was.
Sure.
In the name of modern medicine and in the name of modern thinking, you cannot brush away these sciences don't have scientific temperament. That statement is unscientific.
So the H in Ministry of Ayush, the H in Ayush is homeopathy. So this
Yes.
is an acceptable form of therapy as envisioned by the government of India. It has been there for a long time. But the only thing is that we need to have more clinical trials, even though the data does not exist. We should do more clinical trials, placebo, double blind. One group can be given homeopathic drugs that are consensus drugs versus those that
Yes.
are not given.
Random control trials.
Correct. So
No,
that will
I will
bring
agree.
out.
I
Yeah,
will agree on the meta-analysis, systemic analysis, RCTs, phase 1, phase 2, all that has to certainly undergo. But when there is a fire on the bed, I can't go on, well to take a well freshly. First, you have to do whatever necessity. Medicine on emergency will have to do, because there is no scientific evidence also for them to say that we don't have any medicine. They are accepting that. That doesn't mean that all the other systems should make a tall claim of 2,000 people telling I have medicine, I have medicine. No, we don't have that ever changing, never similar theories. We have a fixed principle. We have fixed causes of the diseases. We know why a disease comes. We have a definite pattern of going through the clinically and evidence-based. As you rightly said, we may be able to produce that in future. But until then, safely, you can use homeopathic medicine.
Thank you. So can we take some questions from Facebook? We have a big
Sure.
line of Facebook viewers, and the idea
Sure.
is to, the idea of this platform is to engage citizens in science called the citizen science. So there is bilateral and two level of interaction. There's a person, Dr. Rahul, he is asking a question, sir, what do you suggest for people with allergy or asthmatic conditions working in risk areas?
See, as it is, COVID-19 is known as, actually it's a pneumonia and shortness of breath and that thing. So asthma people has to be doubly care, because they are the vulnerable lot. They and long-standing diabetics, long-standing people who have already taken treatment for TB and cancer, chemotherapy, they have to be more careful with COVID-19, not others, number one. And you also know, people who are immunological vulnerable people, they have to take care. We allergies also, you see, immunologically speaking, as I told you, there are no two who are alike. Same allergy principles, you cannot give medicine to all the allergies. So homeopathy identifies the individual's problem. We don't believe that there are diseases. Man behind the disease is more important to me than the disease. We don't treat diseases, we treat diseased individuals.
Thank you. So there's another question. Is there any evidence on COVID-19 patients having recovered from homeopathy?
Yes, there is. There is. In Agra, the Neminath College, we have the evidence. Probably we will come out of that. As I told you, we cannot go on waiting for the evidences to treat. It all goes on how the system works, on what principle it works. I told you on the symptom similarity, even without going to Wuhan, a set of symptoms which is given by the World Health Organization, we were able to fix up a remedy. Whether is there any remedy which has caused such symptoms on a healthy human being? That has to be potentized and given in homeopathic form.
So if that patient is in touch with you, I would like to invite you to submit that data to our journal, because this is world's first journal.
I'll speak, since I'm in the Central Council, as the Board of Governor and an executive member, I can extract all those things and I can able to submit to you.
Because most of the, as you will agree, a lot of good practitioners are working in silos, not in institutions. So they may not have access to ethical committee approvals, regulatory, and they are also not exposed to publishing. It is with this idea that we started world's first journal called the Integrative Medicine Case Reports. This is the platform for that. And it encourages people to publish single case report. They do not even need the institute ethical approval to the best of my knowledge. They can take the informed consent and follow the guidelines and submit the data to us for standard peer review. And then the scientists in the field, including the homeopaths, will take a review. They will review it and then take a decision. So it will be nice. This question will be very nicely and aptly answered if this can be submitted to our journal.
These all our homeopaths, 3 lakhs homeopaths in India. Now India is epicenter of homeopathy. There are 3 lakhs graduates who are working on homeopathy under the principles of similia, similibus curenta. And you, as you rightly said, most of them are clinical oriented than research oriented, unfortunately. And they may not know the research methodology of your meta-analysis, systemic analysis, RCTs, phase 1, phase 2, and make a curve, whether it has done. All this, they may not be aware, unfortunately. If they have the data, as you rightly said, we were able to bring them upon to the data, especially how much you treated, what is the statistics before us. Probably science has only that than the comfort of the people. So I think we should be able to give.
No, you are right. And I would like to add to that we are planning to hold a workshop on how to publish, how to structure your write-up, how to include methods, what are the designs, and how to collect data, how to take ethical consents. And we're going to be doing a workshop because now we are expanded beyond 10,000 subscribers and a total of about
Great.
1.1 million viewers in last 90 days. So I think we can do this service for the interest of science and developing scientific temperament in people. It doesn't matter whether it belongs to Ayush or modern medicine. Science is science, and science is defined by cause and effect relationship, which applies as much to the homeopathy as to modern medicine.
My only request with what so-called modern medicine people is that whatever we are doing, only the way of doing scientific research, otherwise others not. I think let them not have that thing. Because if you talk about cause and effect, 85% of the, 85% of the causes of the diseases are etiology, idiopathy. If you don't know the 85% of the causes of the disease, I can't call myself a scientific man. That is for truth. I would like to quote Louis Thomas, who is the Dean and Director of Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, New York. He said very clearly, what people and the scientific community must realize is that medicine never began as a science at all. If the truth has been told, it is still in pre-Darwinian, pre-Newtonian era, because we don't know the causes of 85% of the diseases. Whatever another 15% we know is deficiency and infectious diseases. There again, that theory is 50% truth, 50% wrong, because people with the same bacteria, they were not infected. What I was trying to tell you, let us try to understand the science of man is totally different from that of science of material. This, our modern medical system people and the pharma companies, let them also realize, I'm not trying to tell you we are not able to produce data, but totally don't depend upon that. As I was trying to tell you, we are dealing with science of man, we are dealing with evidence-based medicine, then data and these things, as you rightly asked, scientific temperament, we will certainly give you. But at the same breath, my earnest request, if you are a scientific man, if you are a scientific doctor, if you call yourself your modern, then your thoughts also must be accept the others and view it in entirety. Just because you did not give data, you can't say no. And no medicine on this earth, especially homeopathy, would not have survived in India because of somebody's mehermani. It is existing mainly because of his sustenance and treating people. We should also have the clinical data. I myself have treated 25 lakhs patients in 40 years. And I have a dubious distinction of solving 3,000 infertility cases which were given up everywhere. I have all the 3,000 data. As you rightly said, when time comes, we will be able to produce it.
Very nice. So the message is that we should be cognitively neutral to any pathy, regardless of whether it is homeopathy, Ayurveda, TCM, or any of the medicines. But we need to communicate the data and train our young homeopaths so that they become scientifically oriented in their practice. So there's one more question. What should we do if there is reinfection of COVID? There is a question from Elizabeth Prince asking, what happens
from Bangalore. Elizabeth Prince from Bangalore.
I can't see the location, but it is Elizabeth.
Probably
Prince.
she's from Bangalore. Yeah. What if it is next one? That's what I told you. Homeopathy has believed that the man behind the disease, who are these immunologically compromised individuals who are getting it. So As I told you, yesterday I was thinking arsenicum amalgam was the preventive medicine. After seeing the autopsy, now I have come to phosphorus, Merxol, and Ferromate. So our thinking also changes on the way of the patient presents. Though there is COVID, how 70% of the people are symptomless. And the death rate is only supposed to be, it was only 3 to 4%. Another 93 can go without treatment. The problem lies with the immunocompromised individuals who have diabetics, who had TB, who had a dilapidated constitutions. Only them we are concerned about. This is supposed to be a self-limiting disease, and 75% have gone without treatment. We don't know whether you and have also must have got it, and it has gone. That's where we are heading to a herd immunity, and that's what has to happen. If the man has inhabited the earth from millions and millions of the year, it is because he has developed an immunity to all the onslaughts from the what so-called bacteria and our viruses. So I think we are mentally prepared. Even if there is a recurrence, we should be able to treat them properly.
Very nice. So I would like to announce in the middle of the program that tomorrow we have a feedback session of the entire editorial board, and the editor-in-chief, which is myself, will be sitting together to receive the feedback from our audience and our panelists. How has been the lockdown continuous education series? How much you have gained? Would you like to foster collaboration and all the good things, and also critical comments, how to improve further? Because we're going to go on the July 23, we have a special interactive session with His Highness Dalai Lama Ji on the 23rd, and the issue will be integrated healthcare. It's going to be around 8 a.m. in collaboration with another association, Global Physicians Association. So please watch that out, and don't forget the tomorrow's program with the editorial board. Would you like to, Dr. Rudresh, there's a comment, it's up to you. Would you like to comment on Coronil?
Yeah. No. See,
Okay.
Coronil, there cannot be any single patent medicine that is not homeopathy at all. In that case, I have seen that Coronil, the combination yesterday, somebody in WhatsApp they have sent, they have added 4 medicines. Where is the question of homeopathy? There is single medicine, minimum dose, and the similimum. Theory itself is gone. Whatever is given under the name of homeopathic medicine is not homeopathy medicine unless it is being given on the principles of homeopathy. A medicine which is prescribed on principles of homeopathy, then it is called homeopathic medicine. All other as just medicine. They are not homeopathic.
There's one more question from Deepa Ahmad. She or he, I think it's a she, asking, what do you have to comment on a Bangalore virologist? Are you referring to the same one? It's a nosode-like medicine developed by a Bangalore virologist.
Dr. Sridhar. Dr. Sridhar is a good friend of mine who has developed, he has separated the RNA of the coronavirus. The next day he contacted me, and they were supposed to be prepared according to the homeopathic principles. But unfortunately, when I made it's not an interrogation, my scientific temperament, which I ask basic questions like, sir, have you separated the RNA of COVID-19? If you say yes, then I will say, no, you cannot have COVID-19. It becomes illegal to keep it in your laboratory. You cannot have it unless you have from the government. My second question was whether it is a homeopathic medicine or an allopathic medicine. If it is a homeopathic medicine, then whether it is potentized. You cannot give it in water. Water is a very low vehicle. You have to give it in alcohol. Then whether you have gone before the ethical committee, ICMR, the Indian Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of Ghaziabad, you have to undergo all these scientific scrutiny. Now they have given for a number of people. Now they have stopped only because the ethical committee chairman had called me up from Bangalore Medical College, professor of medicine. He asked me, what is this? Then I would explain him very clearly. I would have loved to have that if it were to be COVID-19 and prepared according to the Indian Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of Ghaziabad. If it were to be prepared under, no, it is not. It is not. It is not potentized. and they are not calling it as a homeopathic medicine, and allopathics are not. It is something like unclaimed from them and unaccepted by us. Yeah, ऐसा हो गया ना घर का ना उधर का हो गया. I mean, unfortunately, that could have become a wonderful job if they have taken little more precaution. That would have been the remedy. But right now, I'm sorry to tell you, now that cannot become the remedy. They themselves have realized and stopped it by distributing from past. Because now, if you do, when there is an Epidemiological Act, even if I claim, I can be put behind bar. You cannot claim at all. I am telling arsenicum album because only the scientific committee has approved this. And I learned that Ayush department has got 2,000 claims that I have medicine for corona, I have medicine for corona. And naturally the scientific committee asked, "Arey, corona to nahi aaya hai. Where did you get the medicine for corona?" No, my question or my answer for that is homeopathy does not depend upon ever changing, never similar theories. We have a definite theory of disease, its onset, its progression, if it ends in mortality rate. What is the medicine that has produced such thing on a healthy human being? So your question, Deepa, this has not been accepted either from the ethical committee or from the ICMR or from the Indian Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of India. Right now, you cannot accept that as a medicine. If it were to be prepared under Pakka homeopathic principles, I would have been the happiest man. Then that medicine would not have become that virology lab's property. That would have become the homeopathic property. You would have used, I would have used. So answer is right now, no.
Importance of research and regulation and ethics and good design is there. And of course, BSL-3 lab is required for any work on COVID or any of the infectious agents of the category to which the COVID-19 belongs. So here's a question from some Dr. Piyush. He is asking, water memory theory is still unproven. On what stand does homeopathy take, and how do we differentiate between homeopathy and the pseudoscience? Because the water theory is still unproven.
No. See, a lot of theories I have undergone all these. We have gone beyond the water memory. It is not just that. Earlier, they used to call us as placebo people. Now we have proved through electrophotography, electrocryolography. We have proved, and Baba Atomic Research Center, we have proved up to 200 potency. I can prove that I have the medicine. Earlier, they said yours is not the remedy. How we act, it may be still wonder to practice or ponder to know, but the truth is this medicine, beyond Avalgo's theory of memory, it works. It just works.
So there's another, although we are moving more and more towards the second part of your talk, which was on COVID-19. So Dr. Tyagi asking that the COVID-19, basically, the infection proceeds with what is well known as a cytokine storm. So how does homeopathy address most of the questions have been at killing the virus, but not at the cytokine?
You see, homeopathy will not kill the virus. Homeopathic medicine, suppose you take the virus in the laboratory, you put the medicine on that is not going to kill. My approach is not the virus. My approach, the man with the virus. I am trying to understand the man's immunological capacity. I am trying to prepare him to fight it out. It is not my medicine goes locally there and kills nothing can kills there. First of all, why another 70% did not get it? And why only few have got it? The question now is, my medicine is not virucidal, bactericidal. My medicine acts with the mass. God, on the first day of our zygote, He has given us a beautiful vara. Vara means, boon to us. Man has got spontaneous, intelligent, selective repairing capacity. That's why we are all working. Our concern and our focus is on man, not on the virus. Unfortunately, we are deviating in the sense of only virus. We have forgotten the man and we are only dealing with the virus. And unless you don't consider, and when we don't know the definition of man, then what are we talking about? And all these infection theories, You cannot kill. Suppose you find a vaccine. Now vaccination is going on for the cytokinase star minor. That's why we have got Tridosha theory. Tridosha theory means we have causes for all the diseases. We know the causes of all the diseases. For example, this virus, why it has come? We call it as tubercular miasm. So in a affected case or primary individual case, I would give a dose of tuberculinum 1M first and then give the arsenicum album, if chance is given to me as a doctor. And my level of treatment is totally based on the homeopathic principles. No jadoo here. And the answer to you is yes, whether it is virus, I can't tell that in front of the scientific community. Then he says he has not seen the virus. I don't know how many of people were asking they have seen the virus. Are we talking and are we dealing some virucidal medicine into that? No, that's a desperate way of treating, because we have no other way, so that we are accepting. For example, there are 4 Pakistanis in Bangalore. I say you employ commandos, cover them and shoot them. But you say you bomb Bangalore, then they will die. And that's what happens. Virucidal medicines, all your antibiotics, everything is anti. You give it in a man. Man is a factory of experience and experiments. At what cost? And if the truth has been told, most of the time there are more. If I quote this, it is not my quote. If I quote this, you should not mistake. 2015, Institute of Medicine of America has audited what are the 4 causes of death. You will wonder, the first cause of death, I was thinking cancer or heart attack. No, the first cause of death was doctors. Second cause of death or adverse drug reaction, ADR. Third one was cancer. And fourth one was heart attacks. So my question now is, what are we doing in the name of science? It is not my audited. It is the Institute of Medicine of America has audited and come out. If the truth has been told, there are more number of problems with the medicines. And who are doing clinical trials now? Clinical trials have been done by pharma companies. Pharma companies can change governments in America. My question is, I am not trying to save myself with the defense. It's not the defense which I am talking about. It's about the truth, which you are all unable to talk, which we are all keeping quiet. If the rape is going on, if I keep quiet, I am also eligible for the same conviction because of abetting the rape. My question was very simple. When all these, so much of, where are the clinical trials now? Pharma companies are doing. When I was young 50 years back, the senior doctors would do that. But now, why so much of, why? So my question is very simple. Our focus must be on man. And our focus must be making immunity boosters we are giving. Immunity overnight, it will not come. Yesterday it was not there. After taking 30 ml of Amrita, tomorrow it will not come. We are fooling the public if the truth has been told.
So, thank you for a very comprehensive answer. That was you could see your heart coming out about the clinical trials, but a lot of clinical trials are based also on the preclinical studies. If the data is good, nothing the pharma companies can do. If there is a good data with homeopathy, Ayurveda, or any of our even good science.
Our problem with Ayush systems, we claim a lot of things. Unfortunately, we are unable to produce data. That is the problem.
Correct.
Unfortunately, we have done a wonderful job.
Right. And second thing that you mentioned about killing innocent or terrorist or bad antisocial elements. You mentioned the 4 nationals who may be found in Bangalore. But we have to be very careful in not killing our own body cells, like it happens in many diseases, autoimmune disorders. So the ability to discriminate which cells we are killing also has to be defined. It's also defined as Viparya in Ayurveda, that you might be knowing. So that is the discrimination the body has to identify or to discriminate our own cells from a foreign cell which is bad. It could be cancerous, it could be antigen of the COVID-19. So that discrimination is very important. I hope you will agree with that.
Now we know, certainly we know who is the enemy. We know that 100%. And how we should be equipped with. We have to make these men into that. But there is already invasion, then what to do? That is the question. And number one, homeopathy does know, certainly, as I told you, the causes of all the diseases and how it has to be dealt with, how man has to be prepared with. And when I give a medicine, as I told you, ours is certainly not, it is subclinical levels, it is not virucidal, it is not bactericidal, it is only the human being who does this. So my question is very simple, that you, one side you produce data, clinical trials, all these, but the other side, our approach to man must change. Our focus must be the science of man, not the science of material. If the medical field, beating around the bush in the name of science, all the things which has been materialistic science is totally different from that of science of man. Let us not forget, we are dealing with living human being, and we are assisting. Homeopathy does assist his own nature, makes him to fight the disease, not the medicine will go and fight there. And
so that's a very good comment, and it is aligned to one of our own Facebook viewer who says that the integrated approach is the best solution. So to bring the best of East and West and homeopathy and Ayurveda system with the modern medicine, keeping man in the forefront, and the disease will automatically get resolved. But we need evidence for that. We should do studies for that. And I will now take the last question in the interest of time. I know we can go on and on. This is from Shailaja Tejamurthy in Bangalore, asking if in Karnataka or in Bangalore, are you allowed to give homeopathy medicines? If so, she feels that they could go back home lesser than 7 or 14 days. First question is it allowed? And what is your...
Where is she from? Where is she from?
I don't know. She has in Bangalore. She's asking, are they allowing giving homeopathy medicines for coronavirus?
100%.
Is it allowed or not? It's just a question.
Yes. We have allowed. Government. I met the Chief Minister Yediyurappa ji. I have taken the permission to the Ayush Ilaka, and Ayush Ministry has come out with arsenicum album. We cannot call it as a preventive, since there is an epidemic law going on. We have called that as a immunobooster, and we are allowed to give. Nobody can legally question. And when it is accepted by the government, homeopathy is accepted under the Indian Constitution, under the Parliamentary Act. So nobody can say you cannot give.
So somebody is saying, you answered that, but I was just reading the Facebook message. She's from Pune, by the way, the person who asked the question. Anyway, moving on, this was supposed to be the last, but I'll take another one from Uma Subramanya, asking if the symptoms that are known of COVID-19.
Is she from Dubai? She must be from Dubai.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. We are Facebook, and people around the world are logging in, and already we have got 1.1 million views in the last 90 days. So I don't know.
Oh, super.
I guess they like your talk. I guess they like our Facebook page of Integrated Medicine Case Reports. She asked that if COVID-19 symptoms can be detected at digestive level, skeletal level, and nervous level, because accordingly your homeopathy therapy will be applied. Is that correct?
Absolutely. For example, in some people found out some other remedy. I will not tell the names, and I don't want to complicate the minds of my own people. But what I wanted to tell you was it was different. It is usually known as pneumonia, acute shortness of the breath. The SARS-CoV-2 is causing that. But there is one thing going on in Iran and in some Egyptian countries where it has affected the gut. That's why they don't have the respiratory distress. They have vomiting, they have diarrhea, 2 vomiting and 1 diarrhea off, like cholera, and they have died. There, my medicine changes, because as I told you, I am not giving medicine to COVID-19 virus. I am giving the medicine man with the COVID-19 virus. So with the same COVID virus man, if I give medicine in Iran, is different, and if I give it in Bangalore is different. If the truth has been told.
Very nice. So, day after tomorrow on the 30th, and Dr. Rudresh, you are also invited. And for the information of our Facebook viewers, we have Professor Lakhotia, the former Vice President of Indian National Science Academy and Emeritus Professor at Banaras Hindu University, joining us to tell us how to do research in Ayush systems, particularly Ayurvedic biology. What are the designs, whether we should do head-to-head studies, homeopathy versus Ayurveda for a given system. Since you mentioned Ayush Ministry seized of 2,000 claims for the disease.
Yes,
I think
yes.
it's also the time to do comparative effectiveness studies, not only between the Ayush systems, but also between the modern different drugs, because even for a simple thing like fever, you have 2-3 medicines, but head-to-head trials, comparative effectiveness trials, as they call it, have eluded us. So that is the need of the hour. And I will once again inform the viewers that 23rd of July, we have His Holiness Dalai Lama session, which will be live 8 a.m. On July 23, we will be having a session of about 1.5 hours with him, starting at 8 a.m. And we've been doing it from Sadhguru to Dr. Nagendra and Shivani Didi. People from MIT, Harvard have joined us, from our own IITs in the All India Institute, PGI. So we want to create this platform for knowledge advancement and for rolling out the evidence-based integrative medicine. I think we are coming very, very close to the completion, but I will give the last opportunity if Kalyan has any questions, since you have shown up as a picture, and then we can close the session.
Yes, sir. Please, can you explain the doses of arsenicum which can be taken for this immunity boosting?
There will be two answers: the true answer and the legal answer. If you want the true answer, I am giving arsenicum album 200, not 30, because then in January 28, this was not so virulent. That time they have decided 30 in view of other things. But now if you see what is the current scenario, I am giving arsenicum album 200, 3 times a day, 3 days. They say you give the gap of 1 month. That is not enough. You will only have to repeat it after 15 days until the pandemic exists. And the government regulations and guidelines says you have to take arsenicum album 30, 5-day mornings, and you can repeat it on an empty stomach and repeat it after 1 month. There are two issues. As a practitioner, what I am doing, I don't need to mince the words. I am telling you that. If you want a practical hint, if you want the legal hint, then it is arsenicum album 30, 5 days, mornings, repeat it after 1 month.
Thank you, sir.
But I would like to caution everybody that do consult your local homeopath. Do not take it just as it is, because they may have, as he mentioned, Dr. Rudresh mentioned, individual to individual differences may be there, comorbidities may be there, complications may be there, contraindications may be required. So this is not a forum for prescription, but we are doing this to for the sake of knowledge advancement, for the advancement of integrative medicine. With that, we will now thank all our viewers, our panelists, people who helped us to do this program today, this evening after the office hours, this volunteer team, including Kalyan, Sheetal, Prashant, Rahul was the coordinator. Thanks all of them, and thanks others that I may have missed out. And I would like to thank you, and also for you to decide if you have any idea which is burning in your mind, you want to test in animals or want to take it preclinical to clinical. We are ready to, under regulatory approvals, take a PhD student and take a thesis and study that 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
The surprising thing was, now they have come out with all this veterinary. One of the veterinary university vice chancellor, he had come to me last month, no, before the COVID. He says homeopathy has worked wonders in animals. He enumerated n number of cases. That means it can even work there in an animal trials, and it is doing wonders there. Then that's where probably the scientific committee wants to have animal trials. Whether you have done it on them, yes, we can also probably in conjoint we can do that.
Very nice. I think we have a lot of good comments showering in our Facebook, which shows that you've been a very popular speaker. I guess when my screen shows 1820, I usually multiply with my experience of last 1.1 million views. If I multiply with 40, that is the number that we get. So I guess about 800 people are watching at this time. That is
800 people
mathematics,
right now.
because
Oh,
every screen shows different views, so it is difficult to
Oh,
put that
oh.
together. Once you
Oh,
close
yes.
the Facebook, then it will tell you the real views. I will share that with you. I think we'll
Yeah,
close this
my-
session, and we'll like to have another session with you, since that you are one of our popular
We
speakers.
are almost reaching 7. Heartfelt thanks to PGRIT Chandigarh, because I have spread this around 10,000 people all over yesterday, whatever you have sent. They all said it is a very prestigious one. We are very happy that you are speaking there. My dears, my only intention was, first thing, don't be carried away in the name of science, number one. And number two, at the same breath, don't say that 5,000 years back Rama was going upstairs. I have that. The people ask the evidence and proof. All my doctors, my friends have to produce the scientific data, whether you like it or not. That's what the present community demands. I think when we have come up to this, we will certainly come up to this. I have seen literally minimum 8 to 10 allopathic doctors standing in my queue. I'm in my clinic today. 1 hour has gone. Outside there is a big queue going on. I see the medical college professors, medical college owners, the n number of a lot of all the strata of the society is taking homeopathic medicines. People are result oriented. If you claim you are king of Bethlehem, nobody cares. They are result oriented. You produce result, people will listen to you. If homeopathy exists today, even in India or on the globe, mainly because of its penetration into common man's ailments without any side effects, with lot of benefits. And the story with all homeopaths is that I have tried everywhere, then I have come to you. People come to homeopathy as a last resort. If they come, though I know it is not the advertising agency, but if people come as a first resort, we can do still wonders.
Thank you very much. Just for clarity, this is the platform of integrative medicine case reports, which is published in PGI. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hope to reconnect again. Namaste.
Yeah. Same to you, to all my viewers. Thank you so much for patient blabberings.
Thank you. Bye.